Hi, guys. It's Danielle. Casey and I are off this week. And look, so much is happening, and we will get back to talking about all of it next week on the podcast. You know, we at Bitch Sesh encourage everyone to run for office. If you think you can make a difference, get out there, make a difference. And that also includes one Barb from New York City. I don't know if everybody remembers her. I remember Ramona took some lobsters from her barbecue home. I think everyone remembers Ramona at Barb's Barbecue. But anyway, Barb from New York didn't quite make it as a housewife, but that does not mean she can't be mayor of one of the biggest cities in the world, New York City. So she has thrown her hat in the ring, and let's all encourage her, shall we? I don't know what party she is. I hope it's the Democratic one, but we shall see, right? But hats off to you, Barb. Hats off, or tool belts off, or whatever it is. I know she's a builder, so all of that. Congrats, Barb. And also, we will get to talk next week about Salt Lake City and Jen going off the rails. I mean, not that she hadn't before, but it was quite a sight to behold. And then having a hypnotist try and calm the situation. I'm sure she did not see that that's what she would be doing that day. And, of course, Atlanta, where Kenya decided to fly herself private and everyone else taking an unair-conditioned bus to their vacation spot. Anyway, we will get into all of that next week because, as you can see, I'm reeling. But this week, we wanted to release an old episode, going back into our archives. I don't even know that this episode is available anymore, but it was, I think, the episode, one of Casey and I's favorite. It was from our first season. This is back in like 2016, before we knew what Trump or COVID really, before we had been subjected to both of those terrible things. Anyway, it was a long time ago, and it, I think, was sort of the episode that kind of put us on the map a little bit, one of our favorites, where Casey and I read real emails, true emails from a bunch of moms trying to plan a pajama day for their kids at school. And these are real emails from a friend of Casey's, or someone she knew, and they it really gets, it felt like an episode of Housewives, which is why we felt the need to read them and act them out. So enjoy this old episode from our first season. I think it's one of our favorites, it was one of our most popular episodes at the time, and still might be. But so if you haven't heard it, enjoy it, and if you have heard it, enjoy it again. It's like a repeat. And we will be back next week. Thanks, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, y'all.
Welcome back to Bitch Sesh,
The Real Housewives Breakdown Show.
I'm Casey Wilson.
I'm Danielle Schneider. We almost did I worried like there was a pause, and I was like, is she going to say it? Am I going to say it?
I was waiting for you, but you were so slow.
I gave a really, you could drive a car through that pause I gave.
It's like, we don't have this kind of time, Danielle.
No, we don't. We only have 45 to an hour. We never know per week what we're going to say, what we're going to do. Guys, we don't have a guest this week. It's just the two of us.
And it's already going poorly.
I know.
We're already in a huge
fight. Does not bode well.
No guest this week. We had a great time doing it guestless a few weeks ago, and here we are again.
Throwing caution to the wind, saying we're enough. Are we? I don't know.
So upset. We were just talking about how I bought Gwyneth Paltrow's cooking book. It's all easy.
It's all easy. Is it all easy, Casey?
No. It's all easy. It was easy to read it.
Yes. I consider it a hard magazine, her books. Like, they're not cookbooks. They're just pictures I like to look at, wish fulfillment, things I wish I could do, but it's not all easy.
100%, because I saw another girlfriend of mine had it at a shoot I was doing, and she had like dog-eared the pages and put like, sticky notes in it for all
What are
these
those
different
sticky notes
recipes.
say?
I know. Well, I did glance at them because I wanted to know, but it was just merely marking a page.
Oh,
no
okay.
notes.
I was like, what? Like, do this. You'll win him with this. Notes to self.
And I just read all the recipes, and I read her forward, and I felt like I'd accomplished something.
Yeah. Does she make it sound like,
All easy.
this is all something you can accomplish in your day?
I don't know. The thing is, it's just so easy. You know, it's all so easy, and she does. But then they're very careful to say, like, these aren't going to be quick, healthy recipes, even though it's all easy. Like, it's still going to take you a good 30 minutes to an hour. It's not that easy.
I've been obsessed with Gwyneth Paltrow for quite a while. So much so.
So have I.
That when my husband was like, oh, did you, like a few years ago, he was like, oh, did you hear the bad news? And I was like, I know, Gwyneth Paltrow's father died. He was like, what? And it was like something like actually related to us. Like, not that that's not sad, but I don't know her. I didn't know him. And I took it as if it was a loss in my own life.
Danielle, when Bruce passed.
Bruce Paltrow passed.
I took it very hard.
Too.
Very, very hard.
She loved her daddy. And
I can relate. And that hit me pretty hard.
me too.
And you know, she's making these cookbooks in his honor.
I know.
You know, they always cook together. And I guess it was easy.
It was all easy when your father's there helping.
Yeah, but what about when you're alone trying to figure out, and then something she doesn't give instructions on, because I can tell she's like, kids, you know how to do that. And I'm like,
no, like
Gwen!
brining or something. Like, I don't know what that means.
I was shooting this weekend with this amazingly hilarious actress, Mary Elizabeth Ellis.
Friend of the show, love her.
Yes, and she was going, oh, it's all easy. She's like, you just quickly catch a branzino from the wild river in your hands, and it was making me laugh.
Oh, she's funny. I like her. We have to have her on the show.
I know, she's not a Housewives fan.
Is she not?
No.
We'll make her one.
She's got so much dignity.
Unlike us.
She says she doesn't even like to read Us Weekly.
What does she do with her time?
know.
Raise her child?
Yeah.
That seems silly.
I know.
We found out this week Casey is a millennial, guys. A millennial.
Guys, this is tough news to break to everyone, mainly you, Danielle.
This was tough on me, guys, because we also found out that I am not.
And I'm so sorry, Danielle, because you seem so millennial.
I do. I dress the part.
You radiate. She's wearing a black leather jacket, guys.
And it's not even real, because a millennial wouldn't wear a real one.
No,
they're vegetarian millennials.
I'll tell you what. Look, I am
As a millennial,
I have a different outlook this week.
You do? You seem
and let
fresher.
me tell you, I'm right on the line. I'm 1980, and we looked up the definition is early 80s
so
to
you're
2000.
technically, guys, born and bred in the 70s. And I know that's not a decade our millennials know about, and I don't remember it well. I was still a babe in the woods then.
But I almost feel like I'm in a weirder position. I'm like, well, I'm the oldest of this young group.
No,
I
still trying to fit in,
Yeah.
still at the party being like, anyone want to invite me?
At least you can have the self-confidence to just say to yourself, like, I'm not even trying.
No, I'm just like, I'm a Generation X. What do you want from me?
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm like, guys,
Can I come in?
it's really actually more sad.
Yeah, but still, I respect you more, and I think, it shows in your face that you found out something new about yourself this week.
I
that you're younger,
definitely
fresher.
had a bounce in my step.
You did, and I was like crumpled over like the old woman I am, taking my Boniva for bone support.
Look, Danielle, I mean, I definitely had a twinkle in my eye as a mill, but whatever, I'm sorry for your loss.
She's really rubbing it, and I wish another guest was here that was maybe not a millennial.
Oh, it's hard. Okay, guys, we have something. Well, actually, before we get to this,
What?
I have to tell you what happened today.
What happened, Casey? I'm always worried,
I know.
but I'm supportive.
I know. My husband's very upset because a lot of people have been texting and been like, oh, you heard about your wife's, and I'm not even going to bring it up again, incident. And
Yes.
he's like, God, you telling everyone? And I'm like, I only told 100,000 people.
Our closest, our dearest and closest. We trust you guys.
But aside from that, my husband and I are amazing people, and we volunteer at this school for this amazing, actually, it is an amazing organization called Young Storytellers. Again, we're just so charitable.
You are.
But so we've done it for like 4 years now, where you go into schools and we mentor these kids for 10 weeks. They write in New York, by the way, they write plays. In LA, they write screenplays.
Oh, of course they do.
so disgusting. It's like, hey, you know, third, fourth graders, like, what's your log line? It's like, how would you pitch that?
I consider them all my competition at this point, FYI.
By the way, I will be working for one of them for sure. But I had a very, very, very sweet girl. I will let her remain nameless. And I thought we had a very nice working relationship. You know, we had worked together for 10 weeks. Now, look, had I missed a few? Yeah, I had, Danielle.
You have work. You have jobs.
I do work, and I want the record to show I never missed one when I wasn't working. It wasn't like I was just home, you know, and oftentimes I'm a little late. And if you're late, you have to...
What's your excuse for that?
Traffic, Danielle. If you're late, you have to sing... Here's this millennial. Oh, God, I can't even say it.
Say it. What do you say?
You have to sing, you know, watch me whip, watch me nay, nay.
Oh,
and you have to
okay.
do the dance. And then grandma's always like, this millennial's like, what? So I try to be there on time. But long story short, so I have missed a few sessions, right?
Okay.
But I feel like we've made a strong connection. And I really do. And she'd made a great story. And I was very excited for today. You know, we get to... The final show is today. There's about 300 people in the auditorium, parents, students, and then actors, professional actors act out their screenplay. So they're all up on stage. We've got my Katie Lowe's, my friend from Scandal.
Oh, wow.
I mean, big actors are acting out. It's a celebration in the air. And I keep saying to my mentee, I'm like, I'm so excited for you. This is so exciting. Blah, 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 blah. So we get up in front of everyone on the microphone, and I introduce her piece, and I'm like, I'm really excited for her, and I had to ask her questions. I'm like, what did you learn from Young Storytellers, and what was your favorite part? Now, everyone had basically said, like, my favorite part was working with my mentor.
Okay.
Well, my mentee says in front of everyone, she goes, this is a direct quote. She goes, my favorite part was working with my mentor. She turns to me and says, even though she wasn't really there. She goes, even though she wasn't really there that much. I was
bright red.
My eyes like filled with tears, sort of, but I was also hysterically laughing. My husband David was screaming with laughter in the second row. Everyone was always so supportive, horrified. It was like it was every moment and emotion, but I didn't want to make her feel bad or look bad, so I just go, well, yes. I go, that is just truthful. I did not know what to say. So then I'm like, without further ado, I present your show. It was a slam. She slammed me so hard. And I don't think she actually meant to. I think she was just telling the facts. Like, I liked you even though you were not here a lot. And I was like blushing to my son's life. Like,
oh, God, that's a tough pill to swallow. A true pill, but a tough pill.
It's just like, God, no good deed, you know?
That sort of actually real quick reminds me of we just moved into a house and we hired a man to, you know, kind of like trim the flowers and cut our lawn.
Stop bragging.
I'm sorry, guys, but he does that for us and it's very nice. But I didn't know him and I had only spoken to him on the phone. And so I went up to him and I had met him in person. My husband had. And I'm already laughing.
I'm so scared.
He said, and I said, I'm so sorry, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. I have forgotten your name. I'm sorry. And he goes, you forgot my name? As if I had broken his heart. And I didn't know what to do at that moment. I was like, choose a path, Danielle. And so I just leaned into it and I said, yes, sir. I forgot your name.
Wow, you doubled down.
I doubled down. And he said, and then he told me his name. And then I said, thank you so much. Sorry. I didn't know what to say at that moment. Like,
wow.
but I was like, on some level, it's like, I've spoken to you once on the phone. I'm sorry. I just moved into a house. Everything's crazy. But yeah, it was a rough moment.
Wow, that's a tough.
He told me the truth, and I just said it. Yes, sir. I've forgotten your name.
I love it. I would have like exploded into the atmosphere, and I don't know what I would have done.
I just kind of said yes.
That's true.
Yeah,
sir.
I was just like, I don't have anything at this moment. I don't have a lie ready. I have no excuse for it. I did.
Sometimes we all have to live in reality. And he made you live in reality of just like, I'm upset that this happened.
And I said, yes, it happened. I didn't even.
Well, and to some extent, that's what I did with my mentee. I said, yes, that is truthful.
It reminded me of it. I was just like, we both had to live in our own feces figuratively this week.
You know,
it always comes back to that.
Live in your feces and speak your truth. Speaking of feces. Guys, what Danielle and I have in our hot little hands is nothing short of a miracle.
Yes.
We are about to perform a play for you, and it's not a play. We are going to perform for you a new segment we like to call the Real Housewives.
Yes, these are real people that exist in the world, not on TV.
And this is an email chain that came to my attention from a friend on the East Coast. A friend who shall remain nameless.
Yes.
She lives in Bethesda, Maryland. And there was a back and forth that occurred over one night last week between the moms at her child's school. 20 women were CC'd that are so astounding, and it is the best piece of literature I've ever read.
And I have to say, having read it now, we think sometimes people are like, oh, what you see on The Real Housewives is fake. People don't really treat each other like that. People aren't that catty. People aren't that small. People aren't that bitchy. Well, this is the truth. I mean, like, they are. And you will see in this email.
Guys, all I can tell you is thank you to my friend who forwarded me this because she knew Christmas was coming early for Casey Wilson to read this email chain. Again, what you're about to read, every word is real.
And Casey and I are going to act it out to the best of our acting abilities.
I've never
a much stronger actress than I am.
That's not true, but I've never received a role like this.
No.
A juicy role.
This is Meryl Streep quality.
Again, the names have been changed to protect
the not innocent.
the guilty parties. Here it is. For our first performance of The Real Housewives, we bring you the email chain titled Next Teacher Appreciation Luncheon Committee Meeting Friday, May 13th. That's our subject title that remains with us for the following chain. Again, 20 women are CC'd. All committee members working on a Teacher Appreciation Luncheon Committee planning meeting. Everybody got it?
Yes.
I will be playing Marissa. Danielle will be joining us in the role of Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's begin.
Shall we?
Hi, A-Team. Hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to send a quick note to let you all that our next meeting will be on Friday, May 13th in the library at 9:15 a.m. This will be one of our last meetings before the event, and we really need everyone present. Please make every effort to attend. Your team needs you. Below, you will find deadlines for the posters and teacher class pictures for the video montage. Please mark them in your calendar so you do not forget. That's in all caps. When we speak like that, that's all caps because there's a lot of caps. Also, if you volunteered to handle the preparation and creation of things like the table flowers, I'll be prepared to give you a budget so you can plan accordingly. Deadline for teacher picks, Monday, May 9th, bold, underlined caps. As discussed at our last meeting, the pics must be uploaded to a USB stick and include at least 4 to 5 pictures of each teacher, alone or in a group, and pics of the kids in a group or with teachers. Guys, these pics should be fun. They can be candids, and I would also include at least one group pic of your teachers all together. Remember, the teachers really love watching this video montage and looking back on memories from class throughout the year, so make the pics good. It is a representation of your class and teachers. For example, if there's a pajama day when the teachers are dressed up, these are the kinds of memories to reflect on and will make for a good laugh. And one last thing regarding the pics, please review your pics on the USB before submitting them and make sure they're all on there. Last year, we had an incident where a mom accidentally submitted a blank USB and none of her teachers or class were featured on the montage. And it was really sad for the teachers in our class. So please double check everyone's accounted for. Thank you. Deadline for class poster, Friday, May 7th. Please make sure posters are covered so no one sees them or the theme. Put a garbage bag over it or a drape, anything. As always, if you guys have any questions, please contact one of your chairs and we'll be glad to help you. XOXOXO, all your chairs. Marissa, Jen, Sydney, and Nadine.
Hi, this is Kristen now, guys. I'm putting together the photos to submit for the reel, and I see you've noted the minimum numbers of photos to include on each teacher, but I'm not clear on how many photos you want in total for each class. I just want to be sure I don't submit too few or too many. Please let me know at your earliest convenience. Thanks, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. I'm not sure what you mean by how many of each class, but if you're referring to how many pics of kids for the video is more about the teachers, but we've said you may include cute pics of kids with teachers, one kid with one teacher, all teachers with a kid or the class or any combo of things. As long as your teachers are well represented, that's what matters most. You guys do not need to put one pic of every kid for the video. Hope this helps.
No, I just mean how many pictures do you want from us? Like how many pictures should I put on the drive? 10, 15, 20, 30? You have not specified how many total pictures you would like from each rep. When I said each class, I meant how many total pictures should each rep submit? Kristen.
20 to 25. This has been specified multiple times and at our last meeting. Thanks.
Well, then perhaps I was not at the last meeting, and perhaps I was not on an email list, because I have not received a single email that states the number of photos required. And
I'm going to stop you, Danielle. Just remind everyone this is CCing 20 women.
Yes.
Go on.
And prior to the email that was sent last week, I was unaware of any of the due dates. And I'm not the only person who was unaware of the details. In fact, a few girls I know had no clue about any of their responsibilities because they were unable to attend the February meeting. This has been going on for a long time. I was at the meeting, but I did not take detailed notes, as I assumed there would be some type of follow-up email, especially considering several reps were not there. Every other committee I am on follows up meetings with emails restating important information as a reminder to the people who attended and to fill in those people who could not make it to the meeting. On a side note, I'm struggling to find meaningful photos of the teachers from many special days/events because we were not told until the meeting at the end of February that a photo montage was part of our responsibility. Had I known that I would have been going to the classroom and taking pictures of the teachers. But instead, I have had to send multiple emails to other moms in my class asking them if they have any pictures to share. And now I am spending a portion of Mother's Day going through these photos to meet your deadline tomorrow. So even though you think you have specified these things so many times, if at least 3 reps felt completely blindsided by the last email, maybe the method of communication should be reevaluated for the future. Thanks and happy Mother's Day, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. You were at our meeting on February 25th, where Jen, Sydney, Nadine, and myself gave clear instructions on what your roles were as room reps as far as the poster, theme, as well as how many pictures would suffice for the video. I brought with me pictures of past luncheons, including pics of posters, and passed them around to everyone. On April 11th, I sent out another email with due dates. And again, I went over exactly and how many pictures for the video were needed, as well as info on the poster. Here is an excerpt from that email. The following is bolded and italicized. As discussed at our last meeting, the pics must be uploaded to a USB stick and include at least 4 to 5 pictures of each teacher alone or in a group. Then, on April 16th, I sent another email reiterating about the poster because some people contacted me or were confused. So I spent my Saturday night at 9:53 p.m. sending out this email to alleviate any confusion or stress surrounding the poster. I even resent sample pictures of past posters. On Tuesday, May 3rd, I sent out another courtesy email to remind you guys of this due dates that were provided to you on April 11th. On May 6th, I sent out yet another courtesy email to remind you guys that the due date for the pics is this Monday. I just triple checked every single email and you are on all of them. Yet you never replied to any of the emails above with a question or expressed confusion. So as to your comment regarding other methods of communication, I cannot think of any other better method of communication than I have documented above. So we are all baffled as to how you are so blindsided. I apologize that you spent your Mother's Day scrambling for photos. I spent mine responding to your emails. But as far as we are concerned, this is a result of ignoring all the info that has been provided to you since February. You have had ample time to get 20 pictures together of your teachers. In fact, in addition to planning this entire event and dealing with all its moving parts, I have been talking and taking and collecting pictures of all the Mount Washington staff, from custodians to security personnel, front office to Paula, Tabby, Lucy, etc., all myself. You also have a yearbook rep for your class. You are more than welcome to get pics from. Let's all not forget, please, that we are all volunteers here and willingly signed up for this committee. I think I've been very explicit in my emails and have made myself available on nights and weekends to email and speak with anyone who needed help. I'm a 5th-year Mount Washington parent. I have volunteered on nearly every single committee at this school, and in fact was a class rep and TA before I came chair last year. So I have done everything you're doing now. And I know how much time it takes. And you have had ample time and information to fulfill your duty. Your email was very distasteful and without merit, and as you can see from the info provided above. If you were confused, you could have called, emailed Jen, Sydney, Nadine, or myself for help, not frantically, 2 days before something is due when you have had several weeks and ample notice to plan. And as for the so-called 3 other reps that you speak of who are just as confused as you are, I've personally spoken to or emailed with almost every single person on this committee. So if someone cannot show up to a meeting that is scheduled weeks in advance, it's their own responsibility. I would hate to think that you sat around for months wondering what to do without asking a single question. Our teachers are the most amazing, caring, and loving people and take care of our most valuable assets. I look forward to seeing the smiles on their faces and giving them the 2-hour break they deserve. I thank this committee for all their hard work so far. And as always, if anyone is confused or needs help, please reach out. We are here to help. Marissa.
I do realize I made an error in referring to the email sent out on April 11th as having been sent out a week ago. But my point is still the same, that this was the first and only written communication we have received about our duties and responsibilities on this committee. The only email I have had from either of you prior to that email are reminders about the meeting on February 25th, which, as far as I'm aware, is the only meeting you have held to date. So between February 25th and April 11th, there was no communication whatsoever. And as I stated before, several reps were absent from that meeting. So how do you explain that they should all know this information? And even having been at that meeting, I was listening and looking at the posters you brought, and I was not frantically writing down every detail, as I assumed there would be a follow-up email or a handout with specific important details of our responsibilities. We all have a lot going on and should not be expected to remember every single minute detail without any follow-up. The only question I had was about the total number of photos. That's it. It was a simple question. Please show me where in the email from April 11th that it says 20 to 25 pictures stating at least 4 or 5 pictures of each teacher alone or in a group is not stating at least 4 or 5 pictures of each teacher alone or in a group is not giving a total. When you say pictures can be solo or groups. And as I stated in my simple, innocent question, I was aware that there should be 4 or 5 photos of each teacher. I just wanted a simple clarification on how many pictures there will be from each class. So I turned in the same number. Really, I just wanted to make sure I didn't turn in too many. That's why I asked. If you had simply responded nicely and given me the number, instead of writing so condescendingly and copying all the other reps as you have done again, then I would have said thanks so much, and that would have been the end of it. I am not confused about the poster. I am not confused about the kinds of pictures we should submit. I am not confused about the due dates. So thank you for pointing out that 4 times since April 11th that you've restated them, but that was never an issue. I only wanted a simple answer about how many total should be on the flash drive. I never replied to any of those emails because I never had a question. I only realized as I was started gathering photos to put on the drive that I didn't know the total number to cut off at. So I made a huge mistake of asking that tiny, simple, harmless question. Only because you were so rude did I feel the need to point out that I am not the only person who had questions. And your response this time was even more vile and rude and condescending than before. And for the record, I didn't say I was blindsided. I said the reps who were not at the meeting in February were blindsided because they first heard of any of these duties was in your email in April. I understand exactly why they felt blindsided. And the point I made about the pictures is that it would have been nice to know in advance that you were doing the reel so we could have taken photos of the teachers throughout the year. That is a completely valid point. I have plenty of random pictures with teachers, but because I was following your instruction and because I want the slideshow to be so special for the teachers and represent the special days like Pajama Day. If I didn't care, I would just pick 20 random pics that include the teachers and turn them in. I chose to go to the other moms because I care, and I wanted to be the best it can be. And instead of being appreciative of that, you were just insulting me and trying to belittle me. Again, my only point is that it should have been nice if you told us at the beginning of the year that we would be doing a slideshow for the teachers. That way, I would have made sure to go take pictures of teachers on days like Pajama Day. It is so insulting and disgusting that you are implying I am a slacker when I have worked just as hard on all the things that I volunteered to do, and this was no exception. All I wanted to know was how many photos I could put on the flash drive so I did not submit too many. I was not confused. I was not frantic. I was simply asking how many photos cut off at. I came to the meeting. I did not have any questions until I was gathering pictures and realized I didn't know what number to cap the photos off because I have too many photos. The only reason I asked other moms for photos is because I was missing a few special days that I wanted to be able to include in the reel. I'd like to remind you all that we are all volunteering our time here. I know I personally have worked very hard. Very hard. It is very important for me to make the luncheon special and memorable for the teachers who I care about and appreciate so much. At the same time, I expect to be treated and spoken to with respect when I'm volunteering my time. I've gotten so many calls and emails from people expressing their agreement with the email that I sent tonight. And all of those people said your response to my question was abrasive and rude and condescending. And this email you just sent is 10 times worse. I'm actually disgusted by how incredibly disrespectful you are. I really don't want to discuss this any further, so let's just agree to disagree. I'm going to submit my photos tomorrow, as I intended to do all along, and I had no issue with ever. I'm going to create a wonderful poster for my son's teachers to show how much we all love and appreciate them, and I'm going to go to work the event. There is no reason for us to interact anymore beyond that. Thanks, Kristen. Oh, and one more thing. I took offense at your tone. I guess what you consider a matter of fact, I consider rude and distasteful. You were curt with me and couldn't just answer the question without throwing in the line, "This has been in all the emails we sent you," which was clearly written as a jab to imply I had not read the emails, which I have, repeatedly. And it bothered me also because the number of photos to cap was not in your prior email, only a minimum of photos for each teacher, which is exactly why I asked the question. Thanks, Kristen.
This next email comes from Nadine, another co-chair who pops in to say, clearly you are not reading the emails thoroughly, as I too responded 20 to 25, and that stands as a minimum and a maximum. That's what Marissa meant by 4 to 5 pictures per teacher in her emails on April 11th. I don't appreciate the trouble you're causing here, and I only wish to communicate with you privately regarding questions about this event from this point on, Nadine.
Kristen's back. This will be the last email, but since you replied to everyone and told me I can't read, I must respond and also reply all to clarify that I was referring to the emails prior to the ones today in which you were answering the questions that I asked. Obviously. It's funny that you don't even understand the basic point I'm trying to make, which is the root cause of this entire ridiculous and needless drama. I never intended to cause trouble, but I am intentionally and unjustly insulted. I will stand up for myself. And if you and Marissa choose to copy everyone you write to me, then I will respond in turn. And if you would like to converse in private, I recommend you write or call me privately, because as long as you are copying everybody else, I am going to do the same. Good night.
We cut to the next morning. A new woman pipes in named Jamie. I have to say how disappointing it is to wake up to these emails. Wow. I work full-time, I have 2 kids, volunteer at our school, and still managed to get the photos together. Your instructions were clear in all previous email correspondences and the day of the meeting, Marissa. I want to say thank you for chairing the committee and being so involved in the school to make it as amazing as it is. And I personally know how amazing these 4 women are on this committee: Marissa, Jen, Nadine, and Sydney. Thank you again for putting your time into this. Most of us really appreciate your guidance and the time you've put in to commit to your roles. Happy Monday, Jamie.
Kirsten is back again. Nadine and I emailed privately last night and resolved this, recognizing that it was a misunderstanding that got out of hand. I never said I had any issues getting the pictures together in time. I had one question regarding the maximum number of pictures I could submit, but because the minimum number was clear, but the maximum number was ambiguous. I only asked the question in the first place because I really care about doing a good job and making the slideshow wonderful for my son's teachers. I have never had any problem with the duties or responsibilities and have been very excited about being on this committee and being able to do something special for the teachers who I care about and appreciate very much. I was never trying to insult the chairs. I only pointed out that some other girls who missed the meetings have told me that they were unaware of the duties prior to the April 11th email. But I should not have mentioned it because that is not or was never my personal concern. I felt my honest and well-intentioned question was met with a response that implied I do not take the job seriously and have not been reading emails. And that was upsetting because I do take the job seriously and I have been keeping up with all the emails, and all I ever wanted to do was the best job I can do for the teachers. And so I let my pride get in the way and felt the need to stand up for myself, which resulted in a series of unfortunate emails that the rest of you were bombarded with. For that, I apologize. I hope everyone can just let this go and not drag it out any longer. Kristen.
Curtain.
The end.
The end. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, now I know we took a long time with that, but I feel like it was important.
It was, because it just shows how one small thing and where someone's at mentally can be taken to an extreme.
These women have to see each other at school every single day. What do they give a fuck about this USB drive?
And it's all, remember, for appreciating teachers. So like there are these teachers going around like mindlessly like, wow, thanks for the poster board of myself and the slideshow.
And I love it's like made mention of very quickly, but it's like, remember to drape the posters and cover them. We don't want the teachers to see our theme. It's like, what?
And then pajama day was that?
What is happening on pajama day?
What happened at pajama day besides kids wearing pajamas?
That we need so many photos of.
And were the teachers in pajamas too?
The best to me is the way it goes down, which is like Marissa's clearly like this alpha person. Now, I requested to see photos of both of these women.
And did they measure up?
They're exactly as I thought, but I'm curious to hear from you what you think they look like.
Okay, I will. I believe, let me look.
Okay, so Marissa's the alpha, that's the chair of the committee. And then Kristen tries to bitch slap her and then gets fucking slapped back into place.
Tried. I think
Kristen went a little cuckoo.
Marissa is straight, black hair.
You are correct, my friend. Yes. And
I believe her to be tall.
What of Kristen?
Kristen, it's tougher for
I
Kristen.
know. It's not quite what I thought.
Kristen is trying to keep straight hair. Kristen's at the dry bar a lot.
See, I thought Kristen was going to be mousy and kind of like...
No, I think she's trying to pull it together. I think her hair is trying to be she's trying to be Marissa and not quite achieving it. I believed her to be short. I believe her to be a little...
And I do have to say, I feel like it goes without saying these are white women because they're so awful.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew they were white
Okay.
from the minute we started.
Yeah.
This argument wouldn't have been.
I know.
This is white girl problem.
Yes, for sure.
I believe she's a little bit dumpier. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I thought. Kristen's a bombshell. She's gorgeous. But I feel like she's gorgeous, but then having to try really hard to prove to everyone she's working so much. And then this really hit a chord for her and triggered her when it seemed like she was told to reading the emails. My favorite part is when she's like, I was just asking a simple question.
And she kind of, because I think if all of these people had waited a beat before but a housewife, the same that happens on the Housewives, if all of these people would just wait a beat, take a breath, then there would be no show.
Because she was kind of asking an innocent question, like, how many photos on the USB drive?
Yeah.
And then it did take a turn.
And the woman got a little bit snippy. But when someone gets snippy with you, you just say, okay, got it.
Or
and
you just don't respond, which I think would be more powerful.
Yeah.
Like the line goes dead. Too. And then she comes back at her heart. And then Marissa detailing every conversation, cutting and pasting.
It's like you don't come at a Marissa with anything.
You don't go at Marissa.
You don't go at Marissa because a Marissa has it all noted. She has Gwyneth Paltrow's
because guess what? Marissa's got a MBA that she ain't using, and she using it on this committee.
No, she ain't using
I'm
it.
terrified.
She met her husband. He was very wealthy, and now she is using it for this school.
And her husband's like, "Fuck these women! You do so much for this school."
But he's also like, "I don't give a shit about this."
He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Marissa!
Shut the fuck up, Marissa." He doesn't give a shit, and she's trying. This is how she's finding love, and this is how she's getting her.
But I love how both of them cite at different points, like how many girls they've spoken to on the side. And poor Kristen was like, I spoke to one or two. And Marissa's like, I've spoken to everyone.
I think Marissa was like, Nadine, you get on the email.
Nadine, if you don't fucking jump in there. And then she's to the other one.
Okay.
And then she's like, Jamie, wake up. Jamie woke up like, ah.
She's like, I'm sleeping. I'm sorry. I'm
Marissa's got these women in line.
Oh, yeah. She's got it. And Jamie's just got like a newborn. And she was like,
and Jamie is disgusted, but she's like, I'm just disappointed. I love that Jamie's disappointed. Yeah. And the rest of the girls are just loving this, drinking, laughing, calling each other, loving the way it unravels.
Yes, they're watching it, hoping it goes on and on. One of them even wanted to get someone named like Tansy or something. Yeah. Just like, and they're like, I want to do something, but everyone.
I just really hope the teachers know how much they appreciate
They'll
them.
never know. They'll never know what went into this.
You said they'll never know how much hate went into this day.
They won't know how much hate went into this day.
Guys.
So much, guys. So thank you for indulging us. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
I really do. I know we took a long time with that, but
It was worth it. It's its own Real Housewives episode.
It's important.
Yeah.
Dare I say?
Yeah. And if any of you guys want to like write in a nomination to any sort of podcast awards for our acting, I'd be happy
Absolutely. And also, if there are any email chains anyone wants to get us, I'd love to read them.
We'll change the names. We'll change details. We'll protect the not so innocent.
But these things matter to me a great deal.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah. They're fun and amazing to watch.
And terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Because I also see myself in them, and that's what terrifies me a little bit, too.
Oh, yeah.
I could see, I've wanted to go off.
But you would never.
Oh, no,
because
I take a beat. But
I want to say, but maybe this is just me not getting it, that these women have too much time on their hands. But at the same time,
I don't know.
I think it might be that they don't have time on their hands.
And I think that they feel stretched too thin and they're like, I'm failing everywhere.
They need Gwyneth's book.
It's
all easy. It's so easy.
So easy, you guys. Just do what Gwyneth does. Guys, now, something happened in the Real Housewives universe that we all could feel a movement, like an earthquake in the Real Housewives universe this week, because Page 6, in the New York Post, I don't know, I know Page 6, but we all do.
Well, I will share with listeners that Page 6 is, the New York Post is the worst publication on planet.
I read it cover to
on
cover.
God's green earth. And yet I receive it to my doorstep in Los Angeles.
You do? I didn't know that.
A hard copy, just so I can read Page 6.
I love Page 6. I used to read it over a bagel every morning in New York.
On the subway, just feel alive.
And if I go into a place, because some places in Los Angeles carry it, it's like a beacon of light that
shines
on me.
And it's like $24 out here, and it's like a quarter in New York.
Because people use it to like line bird cages in New York, but I love
getting my hot little hands on Page 6. But meanwhile, it's like 3 lines about someone, but it's so amazing.
Every line is beautiful, and a lot of times it's about people I don't even know about. Sometimes.
No, it's about like society people.
Yeah,
I'm
nothing about. But they did an expose on the husbands. If you haven't read it, go to Page 6. But Casey and I just wanted to detail some of the interesting aspects of this article because
the headline is How the Housewives Use, Abuse, and Publicly Shame Their Men.
Which is
real new news.
And of course, Slade has to pipe in. He says, what does he say?
Well, the women on the cover, the women that they feature are Bethany Frankel, Yolanda Foster, Gretchen Rossi, and Dorinda Medley.
And I will say none of their husbands come off well, but because none of their husbands were good men. And I don't think that that's editing. You don't see a lot of good moments. Like Jason
Hoppy
it seemed to be a good man, but he... for all we can see, he's taking her for half of her money that he did
He's like having a lock-in at her apartment.
So however you put that, it's not a great view on Jason.
And I don't think the show helps marriages that are already in trouble. They show a photo of Simon Van Kempen with Alex, and he says that while the backlash hurt him, it hurt his career even more. That makes me sad.
Well, but no. But also it says, look about Alex Van Kempen. It says, wait, let me just find the right quote. Basically, it says, like, he quit his job as a hotel manager because he wanted to focus on the show. So
he's always just so misguided.
Exactly. And then he's like, and then I couldn't get another job. Well, you quit your job to focus on a reality show that wasn't about you. So of course you can't find another job. That's on you.
And I didn't know this. Simon says, well, put it this way. I'm now a law student in Australia. The 52-year-old Van Kempen who fled New York with McCord in 2014 for a clean break. They live in Australia?
Yeah, I had heard tale. But they were also on that. Did you ever see, like, they were on that, like, couple rehab show. They were sort of circling the reality show drain where, like, when they got kicked off of Housewives, you go on those lower tier shows until you're in Australia. Basically.
Until you're studying law.
You're literally at the bottom of the earth.
Studying law in Australia. How much lower can you go?
So it sort of makes sense. And then Slade says, Gretchen told the producers that she was dating me and that I had no interest in filming. And so they said, if he didn't film, you're not going to be on the show, says Slade.
Okay, that's a damn lie. Slade has been on 1 million reality shows. He dated that Joe in the beginning.
And then also dated Lori. Oh, I forgot about And then he said, I decided to go on it so she would have an opportunity. Oh, bullshit.
Yeah.
Slade Smiley.
Then he says, can you tell a single guy who's on the show that hasn't been villainized? Your stand-up comedy career villainized yourself.
Exactly, you did. And then Portia's Cordell, if we all remember Portia's Cordell, who was, you remember, he was that football player on Atlanta.
Oh, of course.
And he says, you compromise and sacrifice to give her an opportunity to live out her dreams, and then you lose her along the way, adds Stewart, who published his memoir, Truth, in March. He said, she was an ordained minister when I met her. Now she's
on the web.
Now she's beating people up and walking around with her butt crack out all the time.
I will give him
Which
that.
Is not
Portia
true.
has gone through quite a change.
But I also say, like, editing can only do so much. And fella, you were a piece of shit.
But I'm also like, these men, it's so sad. One husband of a former housewife who asked to remain anonymous recalls being dragged around like a puppy dog. Your wife's like, hold my purse while they take my picture. I'm kind of like, I'm not your little bitch. It's like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
And we don't, yeah, of course you are.
But yeah, I just feel like to blame the wives on this, like, you guys were not great to go on the show in the beginning with. None of the women come off great. It's not like they're all like coming off like roses. So I do feel like this article was interesting, but not factual.
And, you know, I mean...
Oh, and then about Kristen's husband. Josh was outed for being on the cheating site, Ashley Madison. Guess what? You were on the cheating site, Ashley Madison.
But the best thing is I read this article that said that he said he signed up with a group of friends as a joke, but then they like logged in like 27 times.
Yeah, as a joke. 27 jokes right there.
27 hilarious jokes.
Hilarious laughs we got off that.
I actually have a friend who was friends with them and said, Josh is nothing like that and he doesn't come off like that. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. There's people you don't really like, but then when you spend more time with them, you're like, oh, they're not that bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like he kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the way he treated her.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but I do feel like that could have been a little bit editing. They kind of focused on that angle of their relationship. That exists in their relationship, but I don't think we saw all sides of their relationship. I will say that.
E-Boost.
And that's just a plug for E-Boost, guys. Is that
This whole thing has been a plug for E-Boost. By the way, E-Boost is in major hotels. Like,
what is it? What is E-Boost?
E-Boost is like a little energy shot.
So it's just a shot of energy, like in a mini bar?
Yeah, like kind of like a tangy orange kind of fizzy flavor that you drink for energy. I've never taken it, but has anyone taken E-Boost?
give us a tweet if you've taken some E-Boost.
E-Boost. The millennials just say E-Boost.
I guess so. I'm not a millennial. I'm an old lady. I'm an old Gen Xer.
Guys, should we go on to...
Yes. Shall we move on to New York?
Yeah.
Guys, New York continues to deliver and deliver the drama. And we love every minute of it.
I mean, right off the bat, we're introduced to a gal named Juliana, Sonia's intern.
Yeah.
We were laughing how Luann always calls her Sonia.
Yeah, she's the only one. Is that like the Connecticut in her, or is it the France in her? What part of Luann is saying that name wrong? Sonia. Is it the man in her? It's interesting, Luann. But I also we start with the psychic party, which it's not a Real Housewives show if you don't have a psychic party.
Kim Russo, the psycho. Psycho. Sorry, I meant psychic.
That was totally a Freudian
I truly
slip.
meant psychic, but
I saw your face.
Yeah. Also,
you did say, should I go to her? Is what Casey said to me.
I went to a baby psychic that I spoke to on the phone. A friend of mine got me a gift certificate for this. It was a man in Queens, also named John. He's like, hello. It was not what you were thinking. And my husband told me not to do it. I really shouldn't have done it.
Okay.
My mom had passed away about 10 years ago, and I was afraid he was going to say something about my mom. I actually didn't want to hear that. And then he's actually told me some things that you can't really unhear in a weird way. The first thing he said, he's like, your son. So he's, I guess, communicating with my son who was in utero.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, where is he? I thought he was here, but I guess he's there.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Your son wants me to tell you that he knows this is the first thing he says very meaningfully. Your son wants me to tell you he knows you've been eating a lot of onion rings while you've been pregnant and it's okay. Enjoy yourself. I was like,
were you?
My son's giving me like diet permission.
Your son says it's all so easy. It's all
so easy. But then at the end, I was kind of like into a little bit what he was saying a little. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, is there anything else? Kind of like opened the door a little bit. And he's like, yeah, there's a woman. And I'm like, oh, is it my mom? I totally fed it to him because I don't know. I was like, is my mom out there? Like very hopefully. And And he goes, yeah. She's here. And yeah. And then I go, well, does she, because again, I'm not clear on what realm we're discussing. I go, has she seen my son? And he goes, yeah, they see each other. They know each other. It's not like, and then he trails off kind of like they're not best pals, but like they have a rapport. Like they'll say hi.
Like he's like small talk. Like they'll say hi if they see each other, but they don't want to hang out.
Like they don't have it all day, you know? Yeah. And he was like, yeah, like they don't really connect. But like I was like, oh, he goes, yeah, I mean they do see each other, but I was like devastated. So Kim Russo was a psychic on the show, and she said some stuff, but it's more the stuff that was said in her presence that was interesting. Mostly Ramona's comment when she said, you're not going to marry John. When she was like, you're not going to marry John. Which was amazing that apparently Richard, Dorinda's old husband from the dead, even he is piping in and saying you shouldn't marry John.
Yeah, he said he's okay for now.
Everyone, living or dead, wants her out of her relationship.
You would think that would be like I would take a look in the mirror and say, am I doing some right things? When the dead are telling you, he's not for you, you give a listen. Richard loves you and wants you to be happy, and he says no. So maybe look at it.
That was a really tough moment. And then Bethany, arrived in April's helping us out with the podcast now. We've had to bid a very sad farewell to Karen, who we love. She's not working with Junior anymore, but now April is here helping.
April.
And
thank you. Everyone say hello to April.
Hello, April. April said, and she's not a huge Housewives fan, but she's getting into it.
Keeping up. She has a lot of good questions.
Yeah, and when Bethany walked in, she's like, is she wearing a neck brace? And it was indeed a sweater, a white sweater.
I would say that sweater was mostly neck, though. That was 90% neck of that sweater. And
Bethany's always so hurried and frantic. Like, I just came from something. So we're all supposed to be like, oh, sorry that we invited you somewhere.
Yeah, no, she always is like, I can only, like she's doing them a favor.
And to be on your phone when someone is communing with dead,
it's rude.
Have some respect.
It's just rude.
You know what? At the end of the day, it's rude.
Just rude. I didn't have any other word to
You said it. Rude. I mean, and I love Ramona's like frantic entrance, like just talking at the top of her lungs about what was she talking about?
I don't know. I never know what Ramona's talking. It was a million miles an hour, 10 different subjects. And then they show that picture of her father with an unexpected name, Bodon. That was an unexpected name for Ramona.
I was not expecting Ramona Singer's father to be named Bodon.
I thought it was like Saul.
Bohdan, Bodon.
It was so...
As Danielle, you said one word. Unexpected.
Yes, it was unexpected.
I mean, and then I love, Dorinda, she can go from 0 to 100.
Oh, it's fascinating.
And
I've never been able to.
Crying and so upset with Ramona, and then finally they kind of make up a bit after we hear about Bodon.
As they always do. I feel like I riveted, but I've watched this scene a million times.
The two of them keep saying, you're breaking my heart, and crying. And then as they're making up and Ramona's crying and she's like, I'm sorry, Dorinda. I see her reach what I think is for a tissue, but it's for an olive. While they are embracing and crying, she reaches into the poo-poo platter for an olive.
These women are hungry. Last week is so just being no terrible things over while eating nuts. I mean, these women can't control their appetite.
Sidebar for any of you watching Shaws of Sunset, just note for yourself the amount of platters that Asa puts out and consumes during every frame. It's unbelievable. I literally, it's all I catalog when I watch the show. And I love Asa dearly, but
I don't know how I feel about Asa.
Really?
I'm Asa. Guys, I apologize for that.
I loved it. Then we go to Jules's house. Carol comes over.
Carol comes to her house, and that was hard to watch her try and make tea. Guys, watching Jules
microwave glasses full of water to make tea.
That was a low for me. I had concerns.
Doesn't she know how easy it all is?
I mean, Gwyneth would.
So easy.
It's so easy. I will say tea is easy. Tea is something I can do.
Even for me, I would say.
And the fact that Jules had never made a cup of tea, it seemed before, was
a shock. And then Jules says to Carol, sorry, my house isn't quite finished. It's like, are any of your homes finished?
Nothing is finished, including most of what she eats, guys. It was... She's obviously, we know she has had years of struggles, and she's trying to get to get better. You can tell that she is struggling, but she's every day seems to be a bit of a struggle with her. I feel like she's still in the throes of it. I know she's in the healing stages, but
although she could truly be in recovery, and maybe we're seeing
her
fat version of her.
No,
I'm kidding.
It's not
nice. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. What I thought was interesting dynamic-wise between her and Carol is like, why are they both in testimonials? They're having this very nice conversation that seems very understanding about this very, 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 kind of tragic struggle.
Yes.
And then they cut to testimonials and both of them are like, she's got an eating disorder. It's like, she doesn't eat. It's like they're both kind of like out eating disorder, like accusing the other one.
That is a thing that I think happens. I remember in college people doing that a little bit.
What it would give for people to
but just like it
say
just
that
to
about
other
me.
people, like she's got it. Like that was a thing you threw around in college. I found.
It's very nasty.
Yeah, just like it's like pretending you care, but also
is it coming from a place of you're so not you, but so upset or jealous or something that someone's in, and so this is the only thing you can kind of pin on them? It seems.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I think there's a lot.
I feel like
of
we're gonna get a lot of flack for this section, but is that something that I would assume someone with an eating disorder wants to kind of be said, right?
Again, I have not had one. I have had friends with them. I think that it is a power thing, and that's something that they can control. So it does give them a bit of
validation.
A rush. Yeah, it gets a rush. I'm not saying it's a good, like cutting yourself or anything. You know what I mean? Like a lot of bad, terrible things that people do to themselves when they're sick and they're depressed and things are happening that are spun out of control. I think it is something that they can control. And so it does give them a rush on some level. I don't know, from what I hear.
The thing about Jules is I completely sympathize and I have compassion for her situation. But what I feel like is the mark of a one-year housewife, like one and done, is someone who has to get their issues right out. In like the first episode, or the second episode, she's like, I've got problems, because she's like, I can't create enough malice or drama going on here. So I have to bring things from my past to kind of anchor myself and steep myself in the women's, compassion well.
And I also think Bravo, on some level, I love you, Bravo. I do.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. You're my, what did she say on Steel Magnolias last week? I love you like my luggage. And that's how I feel about you, Bravo. I watch everything you create, but you do prey on the weak and people that have eating disorders and substance abuse issues, and they find them on purpose because they create, there's holes there.
Absolutely. They cast only the unwell.
And mentally as well. So
broken toys.
Broken toys. It's true. And we've all been broken toys, but they definitely go for these women.
Well, speaking of, do you think Sonia has alcohol problem?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
And pills, yeah.
Oh.
I don't, do you not?
I don't know. Part of me does think she's just a tipsy girl.
I'm not saying it's gone all the way, but I think she drinks to feel good. I think she has pills. I don't think she's in control of her life. I think she has a lot of problems in alcohol.
Oh, sure.
And alcohol is one of them.
Oh.
So I don't think it's the biggest, but I do think there's an alcohol issue in there. I do.
Well,
I think she blacks out. I think she goes home with men.
Oh. So you think all the things they've been telling us. I was like, that's not true. I was like, don't say that about Sonia.
Shocked that I'm being a Ramona saying it to her face.
Well, at our party, I love her gossiping with that like horrible gossipy facialist and saying like, of course Moni's going to be there, my BFFF. And literally last week, Ramona was like, you're an alcoholic and I don't want to be in your company.
I know.
And then she's like, I guess she better make it.
Those two carry on in a way that the things they say to each other, I wouldn't say to my worst enemy. And they say to each other's face and then they're like, my BFF. And I don't, the emotional abuse that goes on in that relationship is much worse than anything these women have done to their husbands.
I know. They are like sisters.
But I wouldn't treat my sister that way. Casey is a brother, but I will say my sister and she listens to the podcast, and I love you, Abby. We are at that place where we can be like, you know what? You're being a bitch. Fuck off. And then we'll be like, what do you want for lunch?
Exactly. So that's what I mean. It's like you can kind of...
We can, but they go deep. They go dark. They say things like,
I don't want to be in your company because you reflect badly of, and I won't get a husband because of your alcoholism, essentially.
And for Dorinda to say to Ramona, oh yeah, your husband left you. That's right. Mario's not here anymore. Like,
She's like, John thinks you're a bitch and you're being a bitch.
I mean, that was another good. You're like, you're coming on Amy Phillips for like imitation.
No, God, no. I
She's
could never.
Good, but you're getting up there.
I could never.
Guys, we had to watch Sonia pick her nose today quite a few times. It was with a toothpick and then sometimes two toothpicks. Q-tips. It was upsetting.
I had to look away.
You did. You were like, ah! Like at one point, it's like she had her whole arm up there.
Then she took two. It was so disgusting.
It was like, ladies, I know we're on TV and we're bearing it all, but you can go to the bathroom for just a minute.
I was also laughing at how, I know I talk about these little interstitials always before a scene where they just show like shots of the city, and then they weirdly just had a pair of black boots in the rain.
It seemed like they held on that for a really long time. We were all...
I was like, are we panning up to Bethany or we're just here on the boots?
Yes, it was. I didn't say that those were great boots, but... I will say that it was noticed, and I wonder if any other viewer was like, wow, we're on these boots a lot.
These boots are made for walking.
Yeah, they're not that great of a boot that we need to spend some valuable time where we could be up Ramona's nose.
Guys, then we go to dinner with Dorinda and the Sultan of Stains, as John is called. That's genuinely his nickname.
I know, and did he choose it? I feel like he chose it.
I think he did.
I'm positive he chose that.
I felt a little bad for him at the dinner.
Me too.
He's
I felt like
such
she
a
was...
buffoon.
She was coming in hot. She was ready.
Well, yeah, when your dead husband tells you shouldn't be with someone, you don't show up all lovey-dovey.
Yeah, you don't. So she had some baggage she was carrying. So
they're always over these like nice dinners and these kind of weird places, and
there's always a poor waiter there.
When that waiter was standing over them, and John's got those weird glasses on and asking to like make out with her in front of the waiter.
He's always asking to put his tongue in her mouth, and I'm just like, John, she doesn't want it.
Where's Dorinda's daughter this season?
Where she should be, not on screen.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
It's weird. It's like, I miss her.
You do? You hate her.
I know.
You are going to do your one-woman show with Dorinda's
I know.
daughter
I
about
do
her.
kind of miss her, actually, now that she's, we don't know what we have.
I've watched her dub smashes.
Really?
Yes, she's had some dub smashes. That's what the millennials call them, right?
I don't know what that is.
You're a millennial.
Okay, since we got a tweet from someone who showed us an art piece that Luann's niece made of her own nipples.
Yes.
Kind of.
It was like a collage of her own nipple.
Reproduced over and over and over and over.
Yes.
And June weighed in and loved it.
June Diane said, I think this is wonderful.
Of course.
She supports her. She can do no wrong in June Diane's eyes. I beg to differ.
And who is this guy Luann's showing up at the party with?
She always has a random, young, terrible-looking fellow.
I thought he was cute.
Really? Not for me. You also expressed that you thought Jules' husband was a cutie tonight.
I do, but I like a swarthier gentleman.
And I do as well, but he is also just like a slicked back
I know.
shyster or something.
I think he's a nice guy.
You know who I liked was Heather's short little man. Last year, Heather's. I thought he was cute.
I see.
No?
He's too weak for me.
He was weak. He is weak.
He was like, Heather, yummy, yummy, yummy. Just saying Heather's company name over and over.
I thought there was something sweet in his eyes.
But what did John do at that dinner? I mean,
nothing except for be John.
Right.
And that's the problem.
The biggest offense of all.
There's the rub, is being John. And she walked out of that dinner. That poor guy. I mean, I just think they're wrong for each other. But then she's like, so you have a bad dinner. You have a bad dinner. John and I sometimes have bad dinners. And it's like, no, I don't have bad dinners where I walk out on someone consistently.
She wants to be with someone.
She does. And it's not him, but he's just a space fill. As her dead husband said, for now.
I love that he's getting on the show. I wonder if Page 6 is going to say that he's...
I feel like we've only just made him into the hero. We have no idea who he is.
He seems like a lovely man.
I don't know if I'm getting this right or not, but I'm going to say it. Someone tweeted at us. It sounds fishy, but someone tweeted at us that the Dorinda, that there was a character in Sex and the City in the TV show, Carrie's friend. I can't remember her name, but she sold cashmere and had a really mean husband. Was based on Dorinda. I don't know if that's true or not.
Dorinda and Richard.
Dorinda and Richard, her first husband, and that mean husband was based on Richard. But Richard seems like a gem, so I find it hard to believe. But someone tweeted that at us, and I appreciate that tweet. It was good to know. I don't know where she got that information, but
wow,
I thought that was fascinating. Don't know if it's true, but wow. I'm saying it as it is.
Wow. Well, I loved when Sonia was talking to her makeup artist, and she's like, "Do you want to come to the party tonight? I'm so sorry." And the makeup artist is like, "Oh, I'm good. I have plans." And Sonia's like, "Well, I can't invite everyone, hun." It's like, but she doesn't want to go. And then Sonia goes, "Oh, the last thing I want to do is throw a party for myself." That's the first thing you want to do.
Most untrue statement ever uttered by anyone ever.
She goes, "But I feel like I have to. Like the people want it.
The people need it."
And that weird party.
That was, it did get better, but it felt so empty at first. And then Tipsy Girl. And we're going to see the fallout from that next week. But
for anyone who hasn't seen the episode, Sonia unveiled yet again another business line, which is...
And as you know, I want a business to succeed. And I have said that many times. So
that's all you want.
I want a business to succeed. So I hope it succeeds.
It's a line of Prosecco, right? Called Tipsy Girl.
Which sounds a lot like Skinny Girl. And I feel like whatever business you want to do, fine. Like, go for it. But that does, to me, sound a little bit eerily like Skinny Girl.
Yes, but I guess I'm of the mind, and we all know that Bethany's enraged because we saw next week, and Sonia's crying, and she goes, "Oh." Bethany's like, "I want nothing to do with it," and Sonia just goes, "Oh."
You said her face is never. She seemed truly surprised,
truly shocked, because I feel like, I don't know. I kind of agree with what Dorinda said. Like, Bethany's this huge multi-million-dollar company. Sonia's going to sell one bottle of that at like the local liquor store,
if that. But Bethany is her brand, and she has made it very clear that this is what she is. This is her love. This is her life. This is the greatest love of her life. And so anyone that threatens that in any way.
But is it threatening it? That's what I'm saying. It's just kind of sad. It's like, yeah, she's obviously copying you because she desperately wants what you have. I guess I have compassion for that. I'm like, oh, it's just sad.
It is sad. But
it wouldn't inspire anger in me. It would inspire like, oh.
Bethany doesn't feel empathy, I believe.
Yeah.
You know?
You're
I'm not
right.
saying she's a serial killer.
She takes everything as a threat.
Everything's a threat. So to somebody like Bethany who has so many insecurities, and this is her everything, even though it means nothing, it's a drop in the bucket, as Dorinda said, it doesn't matter.
I think it would be hard to be friends with Bethany. Like, she's so hard.
Unbelievably. I don't think she has probably a lot of real friends.
Well, she has her 4 assistants when she gathered her team for them to do a toast with like powder shakes. And I am curious to know, because she said to the assistants, she's like, everybody would kill for your job. Everybody would kill for your job. Is that true? The assistants looked like just upset. If anything, they're like, we're in the rain in like a bus station.
I think she works them like dogs.
She works them like Marissa works these women on the teacher appreciation committee.
Yes, she is the Marissa, and they're all the Nadines.
Yeah, that's right. That right.
That is true.
Ain't it the truth?
Guys, there's not much more to be said.
Not much more.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Either.
But
I'm spent.
We've acted our asses off today, and we did it for you guys.
And I hope it's received. I don't know if that's actually going to tickle the bone of everyone.
It tickled me.
It got me so
good.
But
it also, like, it titillated me. Like, it was like when you sent me these, I was just like...
Well, I like pulled over and called Danielle, and I was like, you will not believe. I felt like Woodward and Bernstein, like with a big scoop.
And I want more of these because they are glimpses into real housewives.
And I think, not to get, deep, guys, but I do think that's why we all love the show so much, because it's just so fascinating to me to see the interpersonal relationships between women is just endlessly fascinating to me.
Oh, to me as well. And Shaw's, or whoever you throw at me.
Anyone. Oh, yeah, not just women, by the way.
Below deck,
I'll
sure,
watch
why not?
2 rocks talking to each other and yelling at each other.
They're yelling at each other. I am front and center with a...
Please throw a drink in each other's face, rocks. Oh, guys. What a great night, Danielle.
Yes.
I enjoyed being with you.
I enjoyed being with you.
We'll have a very fun guest coming up next week. And thank you guys so much for listening and for everything you're sending us.
Yes, everything you're sending us. It has been, the info has been incredible.
Incredibly dense. It's been a treasure trove.
Yeah, and on Southern Charm, too.
Your responses to Southern Charm have been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you guys for those who dove in with us and those who were there from the beginning.
Yeah. You guys are right there with us.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.